Hi everyone, my name is Jim Solly. I'm a volunteer teacher here at Oasis. We teach both classes and what we call Ask a Techie. And today's class, we'll talk more about Ask a Techie at the end. Today's class concerns iDevice security. iDevice refers to both iPad and iPhone. Now, iPads and iPhones come with certain security that's embedded in them, but these features aren't always turned on. And when we have people come in to have us look at their iPhones and iPads, we find out that they haven't turned their features on yet. And why would Apple not turn them on? Well, some things you may not want, like you may not want everything being saved on the cloud, which is one kind of security device, and that's going to be up to the person to opt in on that particular item. So some are automatically on, some are not. You can follow along on your phone if you want. We will not be able to go individually into each phone. You can do that at the Ask a Techie program, but we'll give you an overall view of what you should have turned on in your phone. Okay, the first thing is that you should have a lock screen turned on. And the lock screen is very simple. It's a screen that first comes up when you press the home button once, and then you press it a second time. Mine came on automatically because I have fingerprint control on, so let me get back to. And this is what your lock screen should look like right here. Now, that's of course if you have it locked up. You have to opt in for this. You can have your iPhone and iPad set up to where there is no lock, but that's not a very good security feature. But what can you do on the lock screen? You would think, well, this is it. This is a dead end. Well, not really. If you get to the lock screen, you can actually press on what we have here, emergency, and you can make a 911 phone call from this without even having to log into your iPhone or iPad. So should you come up on a scene and somebody has their phone there and you don't know their phone number and you need to call an emergency phone number, you can do that without even having to have their password. You can do that by just knowing how to get off the lock screen. Beyond that is another icon here, a button we can press called emergency. Oh, somebody's calling me on the phone, so I have to stop that right now. Let me get back and I'll press emergency. And this gives emergency information, medical information that I have set up within the iPhone itself. This is an opt-in feature. Your emergency medical information is not going to be here automatically. You have to go into what they call the health app and put in this information in. And you can put in as little or as much as you want. That's up to you. I have basic information in here, my name, my address, emergency contacts, and my blood type. But those are all things that you can do without even having to log in to the iPhone. The 911 call is built into it. You can do that without having to opt in, but the emergency medical information is something you have to opt into within the iPhone itself. Okay, you've seen both of these, show emergency medical information, and dialing 911 is available on the lock screen. Let's go to the next. The other thing is, you should have your screen auto lock. You can set your screen to where it never locks automatically, but that's another feature that's not going to be safe and is not going to be secure. So to do that, I'm going to give you a general overview here on how that would work. I'll have to put my glasses on for that. I would go to settings. If you want to follow along, you can. And then I would go down to display and brightness. And under display and brightness, you're going to have an option to auto lock or to never lock, or not to have any lock at all whatsoever. So once you set that, you can set your auto lock for 4 or 5 different settings. If it's not used for 30 seconds, it may auto lock. You can set 1 minute, you can set 2 minutes, 4 minutes, or you could put never. Now, when I do a class like this, I a lot of times put never because I don't want to lock it up all the time. I don't want that inconvenience of always having to unlock my iPhone. The problem with that is, though, sometimes you forget to put it back on auto lock and you go 2 or 3 days before it actually does get back there. So that's a simple feature that can help secure your phone by just putting on auto lock. The other one would be to set a stronger password for your iDevice. Well, there are different degrees of passwords that you can set on these. You can set a 4-digit password, a 6-digit password, or you can have a regular password just like you would have on a computer. That's your option to make that choice. Or you could have no password. It's a matter of convenience, though. If you have a 4-digit password, it's easy to get into it. If you have a password like one you may have on your computer, and every time your phone locks up, you're going to have to put in that password, it's going to be too much, it's going to be too inconvenient, and you may not want to deal with that. But that depends on how secure you want your iPhone and your iPad to be. And if something very sensitive in here, and I don't think there's anything so sensitive in here that I couldn't let out, but I would not have to deal with a really long, complicated password. So I go with the 4-digit password. And that's something that we can help you set up within the Ask a Techie program if you come up and visit us there. So I just want to let you know that that's an option. The stronger the password, though, the more secure that it's going to be. And then there's the option of the fingerprint lock or the fingerprint unlock, and that is stronger than passwords. And I have fingerprints set up on this, and it is very convenient. That way I don't have to put in any password at all. Once I have it set up, I just put whichever fingerprint I have registered here, I just put it on the home button here, and it opens it up for me. There's one problem, though, with these types of cases here that I have, and I think with the type of case that you have, sometimes it interferes with you putting your fingerprint all the way down on the home button, and it becomes a bit awkward sometimes getting it to unlock. Have you had any problems with that?
No,
So
I use the fingerprint.
You do use it and you don't have the problem with that. Okay, well that's good. Sometimes it's a problem and sometimes it seems not to be. Okay, anything that you want to know about what we've talked about here? Questions? Okay, updating your phone and your pad. When we talk about iOS, that's Apple's version of the operating system that is within iPhones and iPads. So when someone says iOS, you automatically know you're talking about an Apple iPad or iPhone. Updates give you new features. Updates plug security holes. Apple does these automatically at nighttime if you have it set up in iCloud. And I'm going to show you how you can basically do that real quickly here. You're going to go to Settings if you have your iPhone available. And then you're going to look at the very top of the Settings category will be this area here with your name on it. You're going to tap on that. And then there's an area under there that should say iCloud. And once you get to iCloud, then you can start looking for an area at the bottom that says iCloud Backup. iCloud Backup should be on. If it's not on, that's assuming you have an iCloud account set up. And if you do have iCloud Backup turned on, at night, when you have it plugged into the Wi-Fi and you have it asleep, it will automatically do a backup for you. By asleep means just pressing this button right here. It means not to turn it off. It just means to press the side button here and turn it off this way, not to shut it down. And believe it or not, in the middle of the night, Apple will do a backup for you and have all your settings in case you lose your iPhone, in case you want to buy a new iPhone and have all your settings passed over to the other iPhone. They're all going to be sitting there waiting for you without you having to do anything once you turn this on.
But you have to hit this first.
You hit it one time. You turn it on one time, and then from that point on, Apple will do the backup at night.
I'm sorry, does it have to be turned off?
You just have to put it asleep, not turn it off. You put it asleep just by clicking the button one time.
What, this one?
Yeah, you click the side button, the off and on button. That's this button right here, yeah. Because somebody's calling you. You know, for specifics, we're going to have to wait for Ask a Techie, which you can come upstairs right after this is over, and we can set it up for you upstairs. But we just want to let you know that these things are available so you can make it more convenient for you and more secure. So it is good to back up your phone every night so all of those settings are available for you in case you lose your iPhone. Okay, so what if somebody does get your phone and you have a 4-digit password set up? Why can't they just sit there and type in your password 9,000 times and eventually get it? Well, they can't do that if you have something else set up. There's something else that we can set up for you upstairs called 10 erasures, or 10 failed attempts. So if they would try to put your password in or guess at a password, at the 10th time, it would automatically erase your iPad. That has to be set up also. So here's what happens. On the 5th attempt, it locks up for 1 minute. On the 6th attempt, it locks up for 5 minutes. On the 7th, and so on. We don't have to go through every one. Where finally, on the 10th attempt, it will erase your iPad or iPhone for you. It's called 10 failed attempts, and it's also in your settings area. If you want that turned on as another added area of protection, we can do that for you at Ask a Techie. Any questions about that? That seems like that may be a little bit confusing.
Okay, I have a password and my fingerprints.
Right.
Like you said, once in a great while it doesn't work and I go in and do my
Right.
password. So that I still need to do that because if the fingerprint didn't work, somebody could put my password in.
Yeah, oh no, your fingerprint is an option. They never take away your option of putting in your password because you have to have that, yeah.
But you still need this.
You still could use this, yes you could, yeah. Because when you put your fingerprint in, there's always an option there that says input password instead of using your fingerprint, so. And if your fingerprint doesn't work, then all of a sudden they ask you to put in your passcode. Okay, move on. Okay, there's another feature called Find My iDevice. If you should lose your iPhone or your iPad, and you have this turned on, you have to have an iCloud account for this too, you can go to a remote computer or a different device, and you can actually look for it on a map that comes up on your other computer. And from that map on that other computer, you can actually ring this so you can find out where it is, or you can actually do an erasure from a remote point. So let's say somebody steals this and you have Find My iDevice turned on. GPS is going to track it. GPS is going to locate it, and Apple, if you choose, will send out a signal to erase it. You could actually send them a message too and says, I lost my iPhone, please call this phone number and call me, we'll give you a reward. You can type that in and send that out. So you do have options to get your device back if you have Find My iDevice turned on. We already talked about automatic iCloud backup, and it automatically backs up your device settings and information every night, which allows for complete recovery of your data and settings should your iDevice become lost, stolen, or if you buy a new device. Okay, you're on Wi-Fi. Is it secure? Did you come in here and they gave you that Wi-Fi password, which is 25 characters long? It's a waste, because everybody has the same password. So it really doesn't do any good for them to create that big a password when everyone's using the same one. When you go to a coffee shop, everybody may use the same password. They may have it 25 characters long. They may as well have it just 1 character long, because when everyone has the same one, it doesn't make any difference. So what that's telling you is that in unsecured Wi-Fi with either no password or everyone using the same password is somewhere you don't want to do any critical work. If it has a different password for you, like you can go to some hotels and they'll have a different password for each room after you input your name, that's going to be more secure. But the best thing is to have your own secure password, such as at home, in your Wi-Fi system at home that you may get from Charter or AT&T, either one. And if you have no option but to use an unsecure Wi-Fi, then you switch over to cellular. You turn your Wi-Fi off in your settings and you switch to cellular, and that's going to be more secure than the Wi-Fi that does not have its own unique password. And we could show you how to turn off your Wi-Fi too to force it into cellular. Now you may have an iPad that doesn't have cellular. Not all iPads do. In that case, you're better off not doing banking in an unsecured area with an iPad. All iPhones have cellular though. Okay, on to the next one. This is just an added thing. There is such a thing as a Notes. Is everyone familiar with the Notes icon or the Notes app within Apple, within your iPhone? It's usually on your front page of apps. Go look for it on your front page of apps and open it, please. There is a way to lock out the Notes app, which is encrypted, which is a very secure way. So if you have to have something critical that you need to store into your iPad or iPhone, you can open a note, you can press this icon right here, and one of the options will be to lock this note. And you'll have to put in a password. But guess what? This is one password you're going to have to remember because there's no retrieval of this type of password. But if you need something critical, some information in there, that's probably one of the better ways to handle it because they really won't be able to get into this type without an awful lot of effort and probably money spent. So you bring up a note. Let me show you a little bit right here how that would work. Okay, here's a note app right here. Does everyone see this with the yellow streak? Press on that. Press on that there. And then do a new, you're going to have to do a new note. And you would do that. First of all, you would go into one of your folders like here. And then you would tap on this. That's the new note. Right here's your new note. See how it says new note right here? It has a pencil and a paper. Okay, you have to get into a folder first. So get into a folder. Now tap on that. Okay, type something in your note like test. Just something very simple. Then go tap on this icon. It looks like a square with an arrow pointing up. Do you see that right here? Let me see if you have it. Okay.
No, that's my battery.
We'll have to go into that upstairs. Sorry, we can show you that upstairs at the Ask a Techie program. So that is one way to carry real notes that are around that are very, very secure, especially considering they're encrypted. It's double password protected. You have the password of your iPhone or your iPad, and then you have the password of the note itself. So they have to go through 2 layers of protection, each one encrypted.
So if you wanted passwords, a list of your passwords in there.
That would be a very secure way to do it. Yes, it would be. Yes. Good point. I have some medical information in my notes encrypted, so it's always ready to go if I need it. You can use the medical app that we talked about earlier, the health app. Sometimes I find it easier just to put it within a note, though. So come on upstairs afterwards, and I can show you how to do that. Okay, the only thing we have to talk about now is what to do, next steps. The next step is to enroll into an Oasis class, and we have catalogs for that. You can pick out all the classes that you think you need. We'll hand these out in a minute. Let's hold these for right now. And you can come visit Ask a Techie. We have 2 regular sessions of Ask a Techie. Tuesdays at Clayton, which is the center of Clayton, from 10 to 12. And Wednesdays at Crestview Senior Living in Crestwood from 10 to 12 also. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10 to 12, center of Clayton on Tuesdays, and Crestview on Wednesdays, where you can get one-on-one help. It's not a classroom situation like this. It's someone sitting across the table from you, 1 or 2 people, and asking your personalized questions. And if there's no one else there, we can stay with you the entire 2 hours. If there's someone else there, we have to switch off and give everybody a chance.
How much does it cost?
It's free. It's all free, part of the service. That pretty much wraps up what we have here. Does anyone have any questions about this class or what we talked about, our Oasis classes in general? Amy, did you have something to say?
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. I'm Amy Mandavelli, and I run the Connections program throughout the country. And because we're headquartered here in St. Louis, and we have all these great techies like Jim who help me to run the program, we do new things like Ask a Techie here that we don't do in other cities. So this is something that's unique to St. Louis. So you can get walk-in help like we're doing upstairs today, and then the other times that he mentioned. So if you're thinking about learning about technology, or you know someone who's getting a new device, think of Oasis as a place where you can get classes and personalized help. That's all I have. So thank you for joining us, and we're going to have a session on cybersecurity next with Dory, another of our instructors.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone.